or Fasti Online. Helga de Giuseppe, and Lisa Fentress. Both are archaeologists heavily involved and invested in this transformative online database, which is available to the world, taking over from a printed publication now on the web. And I'll obviously leave it to them to explain to you, but both accomplished archaeologists, and this organization IAC, which again they'll talk about, aiac.org, is for the archaeologists in Italy essential, and it is a very important association of all the international institutes and academies that are represented from around the world that are active. Again, you heard earlier this morning there are 200 active foreign-based, foreign-led excavations in Italy each year on average. So I think Helga, you said we'll go first, and then I'll pass it over to Lisa Fentress.
I will start speaking in Italian while Lisa Fentress will speak in English. I'd like to thank you on behalf of IAC, and I would also like to thank Darius for having invited us here to talk about this project, which is very topical right now when we talk about the safeguard and preservation of UNESCO unlisted sites, which are the ones our association deals with through this project. Basically, it's a database which deals with archaeological excavations underway in Italy. So that involves several unknown sites, apparently non-relevant. There is only one site in the database mentioned by the World Monument Fund. The rest are basically unknown sites, meaning that they're not very well known, but then they do become very important once they are carefully studied and given back to the local territories, local communities who can then exploit them and preserve them. Our task is to spread through the web the huge intellectual research activity, restoration activity we are carrying out in Italy, and not only in Italy, on these archaeological sites. It is a project that was conceived by Miss Elizabeth Fentress with IAC starting in 2003, so it has been going on for 7 years now. It wasn't very well known at first, but it was a very tough task because this database gathers news that on archaeological excavations, input directly by the excavation director and aides, by the superintendency, university teachers. Anyone who has a responsibility in an archaeological excavation is asked to share the information he or she has with a group of general and even specific users, public. So this project can be enjoyed by anyone who is interested in archaeology. How did we get to this project, online project? It was included in the mission of IAC. Archaeological communication was part of its mission. This association, ever since its foundation in the 1940s, has dealt with the communication and disclosure of archaeological activities, starting in 1946 through a magazine that many of you might know, which is called Fasti Archeologici. It was set up in 1946, and it used to publish every year an issue, a number, to get people to know about the excavations going on in the Mediterranean area. This bulletin was published up to 1997, always having huge problems, always facing huge problems. This is the first issue, the 1946 one, whereas the last issue, directed by Floriana Squarciapino, AIAC president, was published in 1997, 10 years late. The increasing costs of publication, of finding news, the complexity of the organization structure regarding this bulletin made its publication increasingly difficult, and eventually it had to shut down. And that took away one of the main missions of AIAC. So after some time, we decided to resume this tradition of the archaeological bulletin using the web, which is much simpler, much faster, and above all, entailed huge benefits compared to paper publishing, because it helped spread the news to insiders and even to the general public. So we truly exploited the web to bring common citizens closer to archaeology, disclosing it, communicating it, spreading it in a very simple way. The project was started up in Italy. Ever since 2003, we had the support of the Cultural Heritage Ministry, which gave us all the vocabulary we use for this database and even the basic layers for the maps we use. And even Anna Maria Reggiani was deeply involved in the project, exploiting the superintendency of Lazio as the pilot one. Through this one, we started testing the project. And then, as a general manager, she supported this project involving superintendencies, regional superintendencies in the project. This cooperation carried on with Stefano De Cao very fruitfully, and hopefully it will carry on with the new director, Mr. Marnati. The project was then extended to other Mediterranean countries. We started off from the eastern countries, and currently other countries involved in the project are the ones you see here on this list. What we do is to get in touch with the local administrations dealing with cultural heritage, draft memorandums of understanding, and make these countries independent on a technological level, train an administrator to do in these countries what I do here in Italy, thus making each country independent and allowing it to manage the site autonomously. The website is bilingual. There is always the English language available, and this provides for a globalization of the bulletin. The census of the news that are put into this database is extremely simple. It's a database connected to a GIS. The GIS was conceived in a very simple way so as to be used by non-experts, and it was the entire website was designed by LP Archaeologists, an archaeologist company based in London, which also deals with IT services for archaeologists. What we do is to get hold of information of excavations underway through a Word file, the typical Word file used in archaeology that can be downloaded under the contact items in the website. There is a part of the form that can help locate the site. Another part of the file is more scientific, the type of evidence found in these sites, a brief summary informing on what has been retrieved in each excavation, the bibliography of the project, links to other websites, and the research team involved, the excavations director and other team members, each one with his own competencies. This file is updated at every new excavation. The updates are then summed up to show the user how the research is evolving. These data we receive through the Word file are then put into the database, and this is the end format. We see a generic map of Italy. We have the information of the website, links to other websites. Here we have the list of evidence found during the excavations, the chronology to get to know about the excavations and the excavation seasons. This is a typical file that we have been using since 2002, so it has a rather detailed seasonal excavation segment. In every excavation season, we can quickly learn about what was retrieved. We can see the results of each single excavation campaign and the research team involved. This way we can show the quantity, the great quantity of activities, intellectual and interdisciplinary activities being carried out, which doesn't involve only archaeologists, but also anthropologists, zoologists, and so on. This is the bibliography. It is a very detailed one, as you can see. This regards the Incoronata site in Basilicata. The bibliography refers to the excavation underway, and it is constantly updated by the team directors who are in charge, have the responsibility of these files. We are just the communications means, but it's actually the team director who must update the files. Being a database, you can enter queries through different systems. The most simple one is simple entering any word in this box. You might want to search for a website, a town, the province, the type of research, and the database will give you all the files containing that word, linked to a geographical map that shows the distribution of the sites involving that word. For example, La Magna, an excavation directed by Elizabeth Enanagni. If we click on that, we can get hold of the file for further information. If we lead a research on Pompeii, we have 6 pages, each one giving the list of the excavations done in Pompeii. I should point out that using Fasti, you will not have a systematic view of the excavations going on, but just the ones we are constantly being given, the ones that are visible. What we are trying to do is to make this service a systematic one, to provide you with systematic information. We managed to do so with grants, thanks to the support of the ministry, which made the Fasti file compulsory. So all the associations in Italy are now well represented in the website. There is still a lot to be done to make this more systematic, cooperating with the superintendencies. For example, Pompeii is one of those cases in which we are cooperating in a systemic way, because all the associations cooperating in this website are well represented in the website. Another way to lead a query is through the advanced method. It's searching for a specific activity through specific terms. You can search for all the villas excavated in Italy or in a specific region or in a specific period. So this is an advanced search, and after 7 years this database is becoming a truly relevant, consistent one with 2,600 excavations, each one of which ranges from 1 to 10 excavation campaigns. So for a basic research, this can truly be a very helpful tool. Many things are published only in this database and in no other bulletin. This is also helpful when monitoring the activities going on and to know which areas are at risk or not in the several regions. Another query can be conducted on the map of Italy. You can zoom into it, you can enter queries, you just point on the red spot and you get the relevant icon through which you can gain access to the file. If the short file doesn't meet the communication requirements for an archaeological website, we created in 2004 a magazine called Folder, in which we publish more in-depth reviews completing the brief files. We started this in 2004. Ever since the beginning, it was based on peer review. This is typical of Anglo-American magazines, and now even Italian magazines should adopt that standard. It means that every single contribution we receive is checked by two peers, two experts of that topic, and this helps us ensure the validity of the piece of work. There is an editing committee with Elizabeth Fentress and Stefano De Caro. There is an editorial board with specialists of the several topics and disciplines, ranging from prehistory to the medieval period. And we have a superintendency committee which helps us promote the magazine and the Fasti project within the single superintendent's offices. These contributions we get are then edited and published on the web through PDF files. PDF files may be downloaded and printed, but they are obviously protected, so you cannot copy and paste the actual text or pictures. This is the 7th year of this magazine. We have published 216 articles. That means about 30 a year, and that is not bad for such a magazine. In order to participate, you just need to go under the item Contact, download the Word file, fill it in, and send it to the email address shown here. The rest is up to us. This information is put on the web almost in real time. As regards voluntary work, we too have set up a service in Fasti for all the types of research. Anyone who wants to join in on a voluntary basis, we offer them the possibility of an enjoyable and training experience on the spot to start off their archaeological experience. Many archaeologists started off through voluntary work, so we offer this service to welcome any volunteer to the excavations. There is a database regarding this topic alone. The file can be downloaded, and you can fill it in and send it if you want to apply for voluntary work. This is something we're proud of. After 7 years of very hard work, our work was acknowledged through the Zeus prize that we won for this huge activity we carry on in order to promote our archaeological heritage. So I would like to thank you on behalf of the entire staff of Fasti Online. Elizabeth Fentress is a bit our leader, the one who conceived the project, the one who helps fund the project and promotes it. She follows every single phase. Christopher Smith is the project director. Coordination is up to myself. There are other people involved in the technical maintenance, and we have translators too. All the files we get in Italian are then translated into English. And I now leave the floor to Ms. Lisa Fentress.
Thanks, Helga. That was, I should thank her not only for that wonderful presentation, but for the fact that we owe Fasti Online to her role as project manager. She has sold it tirelessly up and down Italy, convinced people, bullied people, nagged people, and made it happen. I want to also stress the importance of it as an international database. Bulgaria and Romania and Macedonia in particular have an archaeology that's almost inaccessible to the rest of the world because we don't speak Slavic languages. And so the role of Fasti in promoting the extraordinary archaeology that's going on in Eastern Europe has been spectacular, and we're very grateful to our project managers there. But I'm taken by Larry Cobden's comment that we need to talk about our failures, that you don't hear people talking about failures. You just say, look, isn't this a great project? It's lovely, isn't it? We have lived up till now on soft money. We're financed by the enormous generosity of the Packard Humanities Institute. And the thing about soft money is that it's soft and it can go away, and one is never actually sure that one is going to live for the next 2 years. And this, we did have a business plan, which was that the countries would find it, that were members, would find it so useful that they would participate. And in fact, we have had generous participation from the Italian Ministry of Culture, very much less so anywhere else but in Malta, where nobody has to pay for translations. And Ukraine now is auto-financed. But this model clearly isn't going to work in eternity. And without top-down money, we don't know how to continue to finance the project. So what I'm actually asking here is whether you people who do business and do technology have any good ideas how something so obviously valuable as what Helga and I have produced can become self-financing, or whether we actually have to turn back and say the role of the state in everything we do of this nature is still extremely important. Thank you.